Annihilate fires off the Ice Punch, forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield. We then go for the wham bam combo play, serving up the Big Mac and the fries, and get the cheeky screenshot for the road. Welcome back to the channel. We currently have an ongoing Team Rocket Takeover event, which means you can remove frustration from your shadow Pokemon. So this is the perfect time to showcase two Pokemon that you can currently get in Grant that are absolute top tier threats for the Open Ultra League. Unless you've been under a rock, I'm sure by now you know the phenomenal power of Shadow Feraligatr. The combination of that Shadow Claw, Hydro Cannon and Ice Beam coverage makes it a fantastic mon in any position, closer, lead or safe switch. Next up, we've got more of a core breaker, a Pokemon you don't see all that often. I like to think of it a high risk, high reward Pokemon, Shadow Alolan Sandalash, using his legacy quick move of Shadow Claw. Firstly, we're going to talk about its high reward factor. It's able to beat the dragons, the ghost, opposing steel types, flyers, fairies, poisons. Yeah, you kind of get the idea. This thing core breaks so many teams. On the flip side, it does have two double weaknesses. Being an ice and steel type, it's double weak to fighting and double weak to fire. So team building needs to be appropriate. When I run Sandslash, I used to just run it with two anti-fighters as fire wasn't all that common. However, since Incinerate got a buff, Sandslash very much falls into that high risk, high reward category. Today's featured battler, Alpha Club, is opting for Feraligatr and Annihilate. Without any further ado, let's get into the battle. And in game one, Alpha Club sees the fighter in the lead. However, this fighter might have a grass and fighting typing, but Chessnaut doesn't operate the same as Virizion does. Virizion, a dreadful matchup for Sandslash, whereas this matchup is more of a bait game. Alpha Club goes for the chip and dip, fires off the super effective Ice Punch and pivots into Annihilate. The opponent throws the Frenzy Plant, which is advantageous for us, depleting a lot of their energy, meaning we don't have to be all that fearful of a superpower later. The opponent answer Annihilate save switch with Giratina. Alpha Club able to land the Shadow Ball, rocking Giratina down to around a third health. The opponent is going to get a very nice Shadow Claw farm down, but Sandslash is going to be able to come in and absorb all of this energy. Sandslash in neutral situations, able to absorb multiple hits in the Ultra League as it is heavily excelled. Giratina fires off the first Shadow Sneak, not doing all that much damage. Sandslash easily going to be able to absorb one further, and Alpha Club is going for a very nice Shadow Claw farm down. The opponent unwilling to send back out Chessnaut as we leave with so much energy, opt to send out Swampert. We force the Protect Shield with the Ice Punch and pivot back out into Feraligatr. This is going to be the easiest shield of Alpha Club's GBL career, shielding up the Frenzy Plant. Feraligatr able to Shadow Claw farm down Chessnaut, and this Swampert is in big trouble. Feraligatr grinning away, fires off the Hydro Cannon, forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield. Alpha Club able to reach the next Hydro Cannon, rocking Swampert down below half health, and this game is already over. The opponent recognises that and they concede the match. GG's and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle, we see Alolan Sandalash into Tapu Koko. This is a fairy that is hitting for neutral, and it is the bait game. The opponent tries their luck pivoting into Annihilate, and it's interesting that we enter the mirror. I think I personally would have went to Gator, but we're going to let Alpha Club cook. Alpha Club calls the bait, huge Gahonas on display. The opponent tries for that bait, but Alpha Club does not shield baits in his household. He then returns fire with the Shadow Ball, obtaining us early shield advantage. The opponent again farmed to the Shadow Ball. Last second, Alpha Club invests the Protect Shield, and we correctly shield up the Shadow Ball. Alpha Club making all the correct shielding calls. We then return fire with our own Shadow Ball, forcing the opponent all shields down, and then pivot out into Tapu Koko, looking for the snipe. Alpha Club actually going to look to keep Annihilate around. We bank the Shadow Ball for the road and go for the wham bam combo play, serving up the Big Mac and the fries. Tapu Koko gets one shot vanquished, back to their Pokeball, and out comes Empoleon. Trainer, why would you not send back out the ape? Empoleon not going to appreciate the drill run, and they're going to be forced to throw. The opponent does throw on the charge attack priority, but once again, this is game over. We can just send out Gator, commit to the Shadow Claw, farm down, Hydro Cannon for the dub, or if the opponent pivots out, which they do, they're going to be forced to throw a Shadow Ball, which probably wouldn't even knock us out. I think there's literally no win con for the opponent. We land the Hydro Cannon. We then go for yet another combo play, hit no bubbles on the Shadow Ball, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we see Alolan Sandalash into Meowscarada. A very spicy pick from the opponent. They say switch into Skeledirge, and Skeledirge is not going to appreciate Shadow Gator entering the battlefield. Once again, Alpha Club looks to call the bait, and it's interesting that this opponent is opting for Crunch. I think you certainly want Disarming Voice for coverage, as it allows you the ability to hit back against Dark types that likely are looking to counter you. We farm up, throw back-to-back Hydro Cannons, forcing the opponent all shields down. The opponent desperately looking to take back switch. Alpha Club like, nah, that simply will not happen. We're able to survive the Incinerate to reach one further Hydro Cannon, obtaining not only switch advantage, but shield advantage in the mid-game. Meowscarada comes in, gets the farm down, but Sandslash going to be a pretty good wall to all of this energy. Currently, this thing only learns Grass Knot, Energy Ball, Play Rough, and Night Slash. So the only way they can hit us for neutral is with Night Slashes. They fish for the boost. They don't get it. They're like, RNG gods, where was my blessing? They're like, nah, trainer, it isn't happening today, and they're going to concede the match. In the next battle, we see the Poison type in the lead. A very nice lead for our Alolan Sandalash. The opponent pivots into Gator. We've got no real great response for an opposing Gator at Alpha Club, opting to stay in. Gonna fire off the Drill Run. Drill Run will land for some decent neutral damage or force a Protect Shield. We force that shield and make the Hydro Cannon catch onto our own Gator. You can run Gator with either Crunch or Ice Beam. I personally like that Ice Beam coverage. However, I see a lot of people run Crunch. Let's see if this opponent has it. Even if they do, one Crunch won't be lethal. The opponent just fires off a Hydro Cannon. Alpha Club looking for that Shadow Claw farm down. Unfortunately, we're unable to get it. The opponent makes the last second move, and we're going to see Alpha Club look to maintain switch advantage. The opponent sends out Kyurem. Another pretty spicy pick. Shout out Callum on Toast, who does run this thing in the Ultra League. You can see this is another team that is core broken by Alolan Sandalash. Of course, we're just going to line our counter user against the Ice type, keep Sandslash for the Poison type, and this should be pretty straightforward from here. The opponent fires off the Glaciate, then pivot back out into Muck, and we send back out Sandslash. Sandslash might be deep in the red. However, Steel does double resist Poison, so the opponent's going to have a very tough time of Poison Jab farming us down. The opponent opts to throw a charge, and we shield up the Thunder Punch. Alpha Club looking to land that Drill Run. Drill Run doesn't get the same type attack bonus, but Muck not going to appreciate the damage. The opponent left deep into the red, and they're still not going to be able to farm down. Muck forced to throw a charge move. Thunder Punch from this range, of course, is going to knock out. We've got the Ice Punch banked, which we throw immediately. It's going to be high Muck, by Muck. When Kyurem does return, it's going to get counter farm down, and Alpha Club keeps the win streak alive. GG's. In the next battle, we see Shadow Staraptor in the lead. Despite us being an Ice type and them being a Flyer, this is more of a neutral matchup, due to them double resisting our quick move of Shadow Claw due to the sub normal typing and the fact they've got access to close combat, which we attempt to catch onto Annihilate. Please tell me they're not baiting. Oh, what a catch. Holy cow, despite there being a very nice catch, look at that Shadow Gust damage. Annihilate able to get the counter farm down after the opponent harshly does their own defense, but at the cost of almost all of our HP. Out comes Goodra. We fire off the Shadow Ball, forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield, and we now find ourselves with a 2-0 shield advantage. We send back out Sandslash. We still don't need to shield here, and Alpha Club hanging on to both Protect Shields. The opponent doesn't attempt to make a catch. This Ice Punch is going to rock them down to around a third health. And we see their pivot into Shadow Gator. Shadow Gator looking to get an energy lead. The opponent sends out Tapu Fini down 2 Protect Shields. This is already another G to the G. Gator going to do what Gator does best. Fire off these Hydro Cannons at an alarming rate. Or 10 turns to be more precise. As the opponent gave our Shadow Gator a huge energy lead, I don't even think the opponent's going to reach a charge move. Oh boy, Gator running rampant here in the end game. Back out comes Goodra. Gator able to Shadow Claw farm down, and we get a very nice 2 shield flex to clutch up the big 5-0. Heading into the next battle. Oh, hello Giratina. Nice to see you nice. The opponent safe switches into Tapu Fini. Gator has a pretty good matchup here, especially with shields in play. We attempt to make a Surf Catch onto our Feraligatr unsuccessfully. However, we can tank a Nature's Madness pretty well. This opponent's actually running Moonblast, which we didn't tank all that well, but Gator's going to be able to force both Protect Shields or maintain alignment. We fire off the Hydro Cannon, the opponent looking to take back switch. Alpha Club not going to allow the opponent to take back switch. Can we farm down? It's going to be close. Holy cow, we leave quite literally on 1 HP and a dream. We fire off the Ice Beam, expecting Giratina to return, but the opponent sends out Talonflame and shield regardless. Talonflame quite problematic for the remainder of our team, but we have to send out Ape, as Sandslash would get melted. I think the safe play is just shield whatever they throw. It's likely a flame charge. Oh crap, that was not a flame charge. That was the big bad brave bird that certainly would have one-shot. Huge protect shield deployed by Alpha Club. The opponent then resets their debuff, sending out Giratina, and Sandslash re-enters the field of play. I'm not entirely sure why the opponent is throwing Dragon Claws. Even if their second move is Ancient Power, that would be the way to go, as it hits for neutral and gives them a chance to buff their own attack and defense. We tank one further Dragon Claw. Alpha Club allows himself to get as low as physically possible and doubles up on Ice Punches. When Talonflame does return, we should only throw one Shadow Claw, which he does, meaning we get the move off and the Incinerate does not register. That Ice Punch certainly puts them into Shadow Ball range, and Annihilate is about to be a Talonflame counter confirmed. Very, very nicely done. GG's. Heading into the next battle, we lead Alolan Sandalash into Dragonite. Another beautiful lead. The opponent safe switches into Gator. We look for some chip and dip action, but the opponent able to outpace to the Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon, an absolutely busted move. Sandslash able to tank it, but it does get us below half health. The Drill Run does connect. Are we going to see another attempted Hydro Cannon catch? Yes, we are. Stay in school, kids, and learn to count. It's pretty easy to count Gator's moves. They're straight 5 to the Hydro Cannon. For those of you that like some more advanced counting, rather than just counting quick moves, Shadow Claw generates 8 energy, 5 times 8 is 40, and Hydro Cannon costs 40 energy. So no matter how long Gator's around for, even if it was around for 10 years, it'd be straight 5 every single time. I know a lot of people just memorise how many quick moves it takes to reach each charge move. If you want to get really good at the game, you need to learn how much energy each move generates and the cost of each charge move, so then you're never going to get caught out on moves. For example, Cresselia takes 6, 6, then 5 to the Grass Knot, which a lot of people don't know and do often get caught out. Once again, we see a Tapu Fini in the back. We've got 2 Protect Shields, so of course we're going to shield the Nature's Madness. Back out comes Dragonite, and this is where the Ice Punch coverage is going to come in handy. The opponent actually cool. We've got Ice Punch. I was quite surprised to see him shield there. Alpha Club going to burn his final Protect Shield. Shielding up the Dragon Claw, we're going to be able to outpace the Ice Punch, and the opponent can quite literally pick their poison. They opt to shield the Ice Punch from Annihilate, so we go for the wham bam combo play snipe with our own Ice Punch. Sandslash gets the one-hit KO. We even get the cheeky screenshot for the road. Tapu Fini looking for that water gun farm down, which we're unable to get. Sandslash reaches one further Ice Punch, which takes that game. GG's, and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we see Alolan Sandalash into Dragonite. Sandslash proven to be a lot more rewarding than risky. Interestingly enough, this opponent is opting to stay in, so we do need to be mindful the opponent likely catches onto the water type. Most commonly, Dragonite is paired with Tapu Fini. We see Alpha Club attempt to catch a superpower onto Annihilate unsuccessfully. I like this no shield, as almost certainly they're going to have something that counts as Ape in the back. Speaking of which, out comes Tapu Fini, a very nice catch from the opponent. At this stage, I think the opponent's just going to shield and look for the water gun farm down. Wait, there's no shot that's CMP, is it? No! Oof. Huge mistake from the opponent, playing to the CMP tie. They do not win. Shout out to Home Size Henry for that quote. I guess as the opponent's already down 1 Protect Shield, they didn't need to shield that Shadow Ball, but I certainly think they shouldn't have thrown energy, as now what the heck are they going to do? Gator gets a massive farm down, back out comes Dragonite. We've got 2 Protect Shields, we may as well use one here. And we don't even need to full send an Ice Beam, as a Shadow Hydro Cannon would be enough to knock out Alpha Club. Just plays it safe, throwing the Ice Beam, but Shadow Hydro Cannon does around 45-50%. Is Swampert in the back, and once again Gator going to be very good on cleanup duty. The opponent tanks the first Hydro Cannon, and we make a savage catch for no reason whatsoever. No, I'm just kidding. It's always good for entertainment, but the opponent in absolute shambles. I'm not even going to admit how many times I've lost a battle making a catch just because I think it's more entertaining than people just looking to keep alignment. The opponent looks for the Mudshot farm down, which would be their win con. Sandslash says no, reaches the Ice Punch, and we take that game. Heading into the next battle, we see Alolan Sandalash into Tapu Fini. My gosh, we're seeing a lot of Tapu Finis in these battles. Since I got access to Nature's Madness, I think PvPoke ranks it like 3rd or something. I don't think it's anywhere near as good as it sims. I think it's more of a sim hero. We land the Drill Run. The opponent allows us to reach Drill Run number 2, and they're kind of forced to shield here, although they get depleted of all of this energy. Although what do I know, the opponent completely sacks Tapu Fini. That is one of the strangest plays I have ever seen. The opponent Sends out Poliwrath looking for the counter farm down. Alpha Club not wanting to give the opponent a whole heap of energy, pivots into Annihilate, drawing out Dragonite. Once again, another trainer using the Dragonite Tapu Fini core. The opponent shielded the first Ice Punch. Are they going to go all in on Dragonite? The next Ice Punch forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. We send back out Sandslash. I guess we just shield once, knock out Dragonite and leave Gate over Protect Shield to deal with Sandslash or not. Holy crap. We call the Dragon Claw bait. Do I only shoutcast trainers nowadays with huge balls? What a call. We send out Gator with a 2-0 shield advantage. Poliwrath just cannot deal with this thing. Poliwrath does have a slightly positive matchup here. However, this is GG's. The opponent recognised that and conceded the match. My top tip is if you ever see Alpha Club in Go Battle League, don't try and bait him as you're going to be very sad. In the next battle, we see Guzzlord in the lead. The opponent tries their luck catching an Ice Punch onto Tentacruel and they have now found themselves in a dire spot. Alpha Club fires off the Drill Run, forcing a Protect Shield, and we then send out Gator. I personally wouldn't have disliked staying in that matchup, as Sandslash are very dominant against Tentacruel, whereas Gator has a slightly negative matchup. It's probably Greedent in the back and a weird ABA version of Home Slice Henry's common team. So if it is that team, I guess Gator isn't all that good into any member of the team, because both Guzzlord and Greedent are going to resist our quick move of Shadow Claw, and Tentacruel completely walls our charge moves. The opponent gives up both Protect Shields, just wanting to flip switch, but trainer, we have two very good checks for that Guzzlord. We send back out Sandslash. I like no shield in the first move, because if this is an Acid Spray variant of Tentacruel, if they Acid Spray us and we shield, the Skull with a double debuff defense would do massive damage. Alpha Club correctly shields up the second Skull, commits the Shadow Claw farm down and leaves absolutely loaded. Interestingly enough, the opponent sends back out Guzzlord, so they fought for switch and then re-enter that poor matchup regardless. We then make the catch onto Annihilate. The opponent goes for the Dragon Claw and they're going to concede the match. I'm guessing it was certainly Greedent in the back, and that is going to clutch up a very nice 10-game win streak. GG's. Heading into set number 3. I know a lot of you like the longer videos, so we're doing 3 sets today. Of course, after going 10-0, you're going to see a nightmare lead. We say switch into Annihilate, the opponent looking for some chip and dip action, fire off the Icy Wind, and then send out Tentacruel. After showcasing double electric a few days ago, trainer, what do you do against an electric type? Running Poliwrath and Tentacruel in an ABA format also gives you a dual weakness to Psychic. Not that there's too many confusion users running around, but Henry did put out an Armoured Mewtwo video, and I am an idiot that has got a level 51 Hypno, but I'll be honest, I don't use it all that often as I always get clapped when I run it. Speaking of fun core breakers, I've seen a few people have great success with Oranguru, and one that I might be showcasing sometime in the not so distant future, as a Team Rocket Takeover event was pretty underwhelming because we only got access to 3 new Mon. We see Alpha Club give up switch, and I'm not entirely sure I like that play whatsoever, as the opponent is just going to save Poliwrath for our Sandslash, and there is literally nothing we can do. The opponent sends out their own Alolan Sandalash. I've actually run Sandslash Double Water, but in an ABB format rather than an ABA. So what I mean by that is Sandslash in the lead with Double Water in the back. So on the off chance the opponent does have a Psychic type, Sandslash can come in and completely wall it after sacking my Tentacruel. Unfortunately, this game is certainly going to be a loss. I don't know what Alpha Club is planning on doing. We're looking to play it out, but I think it's curtains for us. We fire off the Drill Run. The opponent doesn't even need to shield this. Poliwrath does choose to invest that Protect Shield. We don't even commit to the next Drill Run, even if we force both Protect Shields. The resisted Hydro Cannons just aren't going to be enough to knock out. And that looks like CMP1 certainly doesn't one-shot from like 80% HP. And unfortunately, the win streak is going to end at 10. GG's to that opponent. In fairness, that Poliwrath certainly wasn't at 80% HP, but it looks like they would have easily survived one further Hydro Cannon. In the next battle, we see Tapu Koko in the lead. This is the bait game. If they full send a Thunderbolt, we're going to be sad, but a lot go for Nature's Madness. We've seen Alpha Club loves to call baits. If this opponent full send a Thunderbolt, I think we're in trouble. It looks like Alpha Club looking to call the bait last second. We invest a Protect Shield. Oof, good job as well, as it is the Thunderbolt. We then look to catch the next Thunderbolt onto Annihilate. As we've shielded, the opponent might throw the Nature's Madness and look to play out the 2s. We catch the super effective Nature's Madness. Annihilate gets sacrificed to the Pokegods. Oh man, and our Sandslash is now going to be switch locked against an opposing Annihilate. Sandslash taking double super effective from the counters. We are hitting the super effective with the Shadow Claws, but they do not get the same type attack bonus. The opponent completely sacked their ape as well. All these apes getting sacked left, right and centre. Feraligatr able to Shadow Claw farm down Annihilate before they fire off a charge move. But Tapu Koko fires off the Nature's Madness, giving us a debuff. We're going to be unable to reset, and out comes Guzzlord. And unfortunately, we are going to take back-to-back losses. GG's to that opponent. I guess the catch in that game come back to bite us in the arse. If we would have just played out the opening matchup, one lead at all cost, we could have aligned our Annihilate with their Guzzlord, which is very dominant, and Feraligatr against Annihilate, which is also favourable. In the next battle, we see Tapu Fini in the lead. This Tapu Fini opts to shield the first drill run, unlike the last one that just completely sacked Fini and died with a whole heap of energy. We see Alpha Club again look to make a catch, this time unsuccessfully. After going 10-0, of course, Alpha Club has gained like 140 elo or something, so players are a bit better and have been a lot more patient. I think likewise some constructive criticism for Alpha Club is sometimes you don't always need to make the catch, although I'm not the perfect person to give that advice, as I will always look to make catches, but I am a content creator and I do like to make entertainment. But if your goal, unlike mine, is to win as many battles as possible, you don't always need to give up switch unnecessarily. In this example, not only did we burn a Protect Shield, shielding up the Nature's Madness, the opponent also had another answer for our Annihilate in the back, so we kind of shielded for no reason whatsoever. Again, we see Alpha Club give up switch, try and snipe Cresselia with a draw on, but Cresselia far too thick, and it's now all down to Gator to 1v3 the team. Where do we burn the final Protect Shield? Alpha Club tanks the Nature's Madness. We're going to throw a charge move. I guess we got to hope there's something with like no fast move pressure in the back. Although even that looks pretty optimistic. Oh man. If this was the Great League, 2 Shadow Hydro Cannons would knock out Registeel. But unfortunately in the Ultra League, this Tin Can has 1 bazillion HP. Alpha Club is going to burn the final Protect Shield. I think a combination of the lock-ons and Psycho Cuts will knock us out. The opponent actually make a very nice catch. Catch the Hydro Cannon back onto Cresselia. We reach one further Hydro Cannon, but Hydro Cannon from this range isn't going to knock out, and I think we're unfortunately going to die to the lock-ons. A pretty close game, but the opponent is going to emerge victorious. GG's to that opponent. In the next battle, we see Skarmory in the lead. I'm someone who's always very vocal about when Niantic do poor things in the game, but I think the recent Steel event was one of the best events I've had in a long time, giving us guaranteed XL Candy, which is allowing a lot of us to make some pretty cool XL Steel type Pokemon like Skarmory for the Ultra League. We pivot into Gator, correctly shield up the Brave Bird, and out comes Poliwrath. Gator does have a slightly negative matchup here, but we have got an energy lead. It's very kind of this opponent to bring Poliwrath into the battlefield, especially knowing that we've got Sandslash around, which would be a tasty little snack for him, and another team that is ABA weak to Electric. A few seasons ago, everyone used to run ABB teams. Well, that was probably the most common strategy, something I'm still a massive fan of. If you've been around my channel for a while, you know I often run ABB strategies. Although nowadays it looks like so many trainers are running ABA weak to threats. We managed to force the Protect Shield back. We're then going to send out Ape. The opponent fires off the Icy Wind. Ape is going to be able to counter farm down, but not before the opponent reaches one further Icy Wind, giving us a 2-stage debuff. Hopefully the opponent doesn't have Double Fighter. If it's Double Fighter, we are in a rough spot, as I think we're going to need to reset this debuff. Let's see what the opponent wants to do. They actually send out Tentacle. I'm very surprised to see the opponent sacrifice their Poliwrath, which is the only real answer for Sandslash when they've got 2 things weak to it and they've seen it in the lead. Man, I'm confused by some of these plays. I've just noticed as well that not only ABA weak to Electric, that ABC weak to Electric, the entire team gets clapped by an Electric type. We're going to shield up the Sky Attack. Sandslash able to get the farm down. The opponent does leave with a Scald. We've got almost 100 energy on Annihilate. Scald from this range does secure the knockout. Annihilate looks to double up on Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball, a pretty good move, especially when you get same type attack bonus. The first one rocks him down below half health. The second one will come very close to knocking out. If it doesn't secure the knockout, it does indeed knock him out, and we're back to winning ways. GG's. In the next battle, we see Guzzlord in the lead. It's always nice to catch a Dragon type in the lead, but this one isn't the most favourable for us, as they are resisting our quick move with Shadow Claw. The opponent throws after 4, which is alignment and can only be a Dragon Claw, a pretty strange play. Then pivot out into Shadow Ampharos, and we are full sending the drill run. Does the opponent respect the damage? Boo! Undeterred, Alpha Club gonna fire off the next drill run, looking to get his one-hit KO of the opponent, double shields, and we make a pivot into the Angry 8. The Nihilip can tank whatever the opponent throws. They're on Brutal Swing. It looks like we can actually tank 2, but it'll leave us incredibly low. We actually do tank the second, Alpha Club recognising he can survive it, and he is going to be able to get the Shadow Ball, which he gets off after throwing one further counter, which is the correct play, as of course Volt Switch will not register until turn 3. Back out comes Guzzlord with no Protect Shields, too high behind, but our switch timers are heavily misaligned. We send back out Sandslash. The opponent doesn't try to make the catch, so this Ice Punch will be landing, and it lands for big damage. The opponent looking to farm us down. We then pivot out into Gator. Out comes Cresselia. Even if this Cresselia is on Grass Knot, Gator with 2 Protect Shields, too high behind, going to have no problem dealing with this ever annoying bulky pest. I've already said it previously, but Sandslash is such a cool core breaker in this meta. This opponent's team is actually triple weak to Sonic, which you love to see if you have made that huge investment. I've got no idea why the opponent is playing this out. We're just going to shield this move up, as Grass Knot will do more than anything Guzzlord can throw. Guzzlord does have a lot of energy, but they're going to be unable to take us out. The opponent recognise the game's over, and they are going to concede the match. And unfortunately, that is going to draw to a close today's showcase. Huge shout out to Alpha Club for showcasing 2 top tier shadow threats in the Open Ultra League that are available to hunt right now. So if you are hunting Team Rocket, I wish you all the luck in the world, as it can be a very long and very annoying grind. But if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing if you'd like your battles featured on my channel. Link to the battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thank you to everyone for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.